All right, Mr. Fenner here. This is the Sticky Tape Lab. I'm going to be collecting data and you can record it at home. I'm taking my glasses back. There we go. Here is a data table that you may want to use. I think it's a useful structure for what we're about to do. We're going to be setting up pieces of tape on top of each other, and you'll notice that there is one piece of tape that will be on top, one that will be on the bottom, and then we'll also have a piece of aluminum foil and a piece of paper. And we're going to be testing with all of those. We're going to test each of them with each other, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to be using Scotch tape. So we have a roll of Scotch tape here, and in the space in front of the camera, I'm going to set up our tape situation. So I have our piece of Scotch tape, and I'm going to fold the end of it like so. So there's a little tab on the bottom. This is actually not going to be the top or the bottom. It's going to be on the very bottom, which means it's going to be the base tape. Okay, and I'm actually going to put two other pieces of tape on top of this tape. I was trying to adjust the camera a little bit. Ooh, sorry. All right, and maybe I can give you a little bit more light for now. A little more light. There we go. So I'm going to take another piece of tape. This tape's going to go on top of that tape. And same thing, I'm going to fold the edge over again to make a little handle. The bottom one didn't really need a handle, but I'm going to have to take the tape off after this is all done, so I figured it would make my life easier. I'm going to put this on top of the base tape, like this. All right. And I'm going to actually use a Sharpie just to write B on the little handle, because this is going to be our bottom tape. And then I'm going to take another piece of tape, maybe a little bit shorter, and then I want it to be on top of this so that I have another handle, and the handle is separate from the bottom tape handle. So I'll try and do this in the camera. Folding this over. So just imagine that you're doing this. Imagine that we are at DTech and you are doing a lab with tape, Scotch tape, and you are working with someone next to you and you're trying to carefully put tape on top of tape. Okay, this is a mindfulness exercise. Okay, so we have our bottom tape. I'm going to label this top one as the top tape, so T. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, I'm going to actually dim the lights again with my fancy dimmer. Okay. And I'm going to now actually take the top and the bottom, not the very bottom, but the top and the bottom tape, and I'm going to lift them both off together. And I'm going to leave the base tape there. Okay. So I have these two here, right? Now, I'm just going to like rub my finger along the back of it, and just so that we just see the tape hanging there. And let's see if I can move the camera back a little bit. Sorry for any of you guys who get seasick, or plane sick, or camera sick. Okay. So now I have this here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to really quickly pull them apart from each other. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if I bring them close to each other, there's this thing going on here. Let's make note of that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this. In the left hand, I have the top tape. It says T. In my right hand, I have the bottom tape. And I'm actually going to put these aside for just a minute. And I'm going to make some new top and bottom tape, and we'll see why in just a minute. Let me just, come on. Okay, that's there. And then, okay, we'll take this and put this there. Okay. This will make more sense when you see it. Come on. Okay, there we go. So I have the base now, and I'll bring the lights back up. I'm going to make a new bottom tape. Okay, so you guys are becoming pros at this, so this is going to go faster this time. So a new bottom tape. There we go. I'm trying to smooth out the tape so there's no bubbles. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. This is our bottom tape, so I'm going to label it B. And top tape coming up. Here we go. Another piece of tape. It's going to go on top. Like this. There we go. Okay, and this is going to be top. T for top. Cool. Okay. So now, I just want to show you what I have set up over here. I'm going to move the camera again. Here we go. Over here, we have these 4 things hanging from the edge of this table. So this is a table edge. This is a piece of aluminum foil. This is a piece of paper. This is our top tape from earlier, and this is our bottom tape from earlier. Okay. I also have an extra piece of paper. So we saw earlier in our data table that one of the so what this data table is asking you to do is identify what happens when you bring one of the items on the left in contact with one of the items along the top row. So in other words, if I take a top tape and I bring it close to another top tape, what happens? If I bring a bottom tape close to a top tape, what happens? If I bring a piece of foil close to a top tape, what happens? If I bring a piece of paper next to a top tape, what happens? Okay, so one of the things we have to do is we also have to test what happens when we bring paper and paper together, and foil together, and paper and foil and paper, etc. Okay, so I have these pieces of paper and foil. So the paper, and I'm just going to bring the paper next to each of these, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's see if I can get this set up so you can hopefully, maybe, there we go. So you can see if there's any sort of interaction here. So here's my paper. Bring it up to the foil. You can make a prediction of what you think will happen. Okay. So this is I'm not going to say what I'm observing. This is your job. To make note of what you think is happening or not happening. Okay. So that was our foil test. Now we're going to bring paper to paper. You can probably make a prediction about paper and paper because you've seen paper and paper come together previously. Okay. Now let's take our top tape with paper. On both sides, top tape and paper don't really seem to do much. Bottom tape and paper. There's something different happening with bottom tape and paper. So if I bring the paper close enough, okay, well you'll see this another way. If I take this bottom tape, I'm going to borrow it for a sec, and I bring the bottom tape close to the paper, there's a little something, a little bit of attraction. We'll see what happens. I'm going to make a new bottom tape and top tape here in a minute. So we'll double check and make sure that our, make sure that our interactions are what they should be. Okay, so let's put our camera back over here. Okay, so we have our top tape, bottom tape. Close the lights again just for effect because it's dramatic. And bring our top and bottom tape off the base tape. kind of just like make sure that this tape is hanging straight down as much as possible. And then we're going to separate them really quick. Okay. So now I'm going to try to not, I'm not going to put these on any surface right now, but what I do want you to see first is that, hopefully you can see this, there's definitely an attraction between the top and the bottom tape when you just have them next to each other. If they hang down, they definitely attract toward each other. Okay, so I'm going to turn the lights on again. Lights on. Okay, and now let's bring our camera back over here. Okay, so this is a home setup, low budget. So we have our foil and our paper and the other two tapes. Okay, in my right hand, I have the bottom tape between my thumb and forefinger, and the top tape between my pinky and ring finger. So if I bring a bottom tape toward a bottom tape, let's see what happens. Okay, let's try and get this. Here we go. I don't know if you can see that, but actually the bottom tape is actually repelling the other bottom tape. Okay, so I'm not touching the first bottom tape that's hanging from the table, but my new bottom tape is definitely moving it on its own. Okay. If I bring the bottom tape closer to the top tape, there's not a whole lot of stuff going on. You might say there's a little attraction if they get close enough. It's kind of hard to tell. Okay, and then we have paper against bottom tape. Sorry, let me move the top tape over here. Maybe top tape is interfering. Well, bottom tape does appear to attract the paper, so make sure that this bottom tape is consistent with the previous bottom tape. Okay, and then bottom tape with the foil. There is, ooh, yeah, there's definitely, it's pulling the foil up. Okay, so let's bring our other top tape back over and just double check. Top tape with this bottom tape. Definite attraction with the bottom tape. Top tape and bottom tape. Bring these together. It's hard to tell. Doesn't really seem to be much happening. Top tape and paper. Definite attraction. And then top tape and foil, definite attraction. Okay, so now you should have enough data. And again, remember, your job is to fill in a data table like this. You'll need to write it down on some paper. You can make a Google Doc or a Google Sheet. And the next assignment in Canvas after this Edpuzzle video is for you to enter in your data to see if your data is consistent with what I understand the data to be. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be here. Good job doing science remotely, and we'll see you in the next video.